Today I decided to zoom way, 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 way out in terms of Shiba Inu, and I found something very interesting. Right now, we are actually mimicking what we did at the beginning of this bull market cycle. There's a lot of striking similarities that I want to show you guys. Does this mean we're about to kick things off the same way we did back in 2023? So we're going to discuss all that and more in this video. So if you guys are new or haven't already, show your support for the channel down below. Hit that subscribe button, that bell. It's free to do. It'll keep you updated anytime there's new content live here on the channel. So first of all, just kind of looking over the crypto market. It's very quiet. There hasn't been a lot of change over the last 24 hours. You guys can see Shiba Inu during that time is up actually 0.39%, but everything's kind of within a 1% of break even one direction or the other. And the reason why is we are seeing incredibly low volume across the crypto market. $103 billion in trading volume over the last 24 hours. And right now, leverage has stacked up in a way that we're going to probably see a volatile move as we get into the early part of the new weekly candle. Now, for those that aren't familiar, the new weekly candle starts at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. So that might be the moment where we see some volatility. We will see a surge in terms of volume at that point. So definitely have that on your radar and pay attention to that. But right now, BTC is just kind of putzing around, trending sideways, not doing a whole lot. BTC dominance has actually looked really good here. Still getting that rejection. We're actually printing another bear pennant here, which is a great sign for obviously SHIB and other altcoins in the space. And hopefully this plays out and we get our next drop in terms of BTC dominance, something to pay attention to there. And USDT dominance still just continues to get rejected at this 20-day moving average, potentially signaling a re-entrance of capital into altcoins. So that's a very, very big deal. But I want to look bigger, longer term in terms of Shiba Inu, because obviously a lot of this year has been rough in terms of prices throughout altcoins. And the big thing we're obviously waiting for is, retail excitement and capital to start re-entering the space. And that just frankly has not happened. But what I found very interesting for SHIB is structure-wise, it's doing exactly what it did in 2023 right before the bull market kicked off. So here's where we're at from a structure standpoint now. I've removed all my drawings on here, my drawings as people call them. And what I'm noticing is SHIB has been fighting this 200-day moving average, and it's gotten rejected by it multiple times. And that's not really a surprising thing. Back in 2023, as we were watching SHIB, kind of do its correction, got down to obviously the bear market lows in June of 2023, kind of similar to the lows that we experienced here in June of 2025. And then we had a nice bounce. We retested this 200-day moving average, got a rejection, came down, settled into a higher low, fought this again, hard rejection there. That's exactly what we're doing right here. In fact, just, let me just do this. I wasn't planning on doing this, but if we actually look at the structure, and this is going to obviously add a lot of drawings here, I apologize. If we put our structure right on top of this, guys, it's pretty darn similar, right? Doesn't this look somewhat similar to what we've been doing throughout 2024 into 2025? It almost feels like we've gotten a full reset compared to what we did at that point. Now, what's very interesting about this as well is we're kind of nestled into this spot right here, right before SHIB actually did get its breach and confirmation above that 200-day moving average, before it got above there and started doing some retests. And that's obviously before we had that big kickoff that took place in February into March of 2024. I'm not saying that's going to happen again for sure, but if you noticed, SHIB is settling into higher lows here. It's fighting all these moving averages, just as it was back here. Could this be the moment where everything starts to kick off? Potentially. We do have a PC report coming this week. We've gotten our first round of rate cuts. We have crypto regulation that is coming. Obviously, there's legislation going through the Senate right now that is likely to be signed into law in October. And frankly, guys, Q4 for crypto just tends to be good in general. So maybe this is where things begin to get a little bit exciting, just like they did last market cycle. But that's not even where the parallels stop here. Something I actually found on the weekly chart is, look at this. We're doing the exact same thing that we did here as well, fighting very similar moving averages right here in basically November of 2023. We are fighting this 20-week moving average, which is exactly what Shiba Inu is doing. It's fighting this bull market support band. Okay. So really what we need is that extended breach above this 100-week moving average, which we have not gotten here. Again, it's been rejected many times, just like it did back here. So now just get ready for this. I'm not saying it's going to happen today or tomorrow or next week or anything like that, but it's all feeling very similar to what it looked like at that point. But what I will say here as well is look at the monthly, guys. We are actually now basically all the way down here in the super oversold range in terms of monthly stochastic RSI, coincidentally in a very similar range to where we were at and where we got our bullish flip in 2023. It's all showing very distinct parallels to what it did at the bull market kickoff. But that's not it as well. If we look at where SHIB is at right now, $153 million in trading volume over the last 24 hours. If we look back at 2023, well, it's about the volume that we were settling into, $100 to $200 million on the daily volume right before SHIB actually got its breach and started to extend. Now, what's also present for SHIB, guys, is 50% of the available supply on exchanges that was there at that point in time. So what we're seeing now is even if we got the same demand that we had at that point, you could do 2 times the damage. You could surge twice as much in terms of price. It's not exactly twice as much, but it's that much easier to move the needle. You have higher conviction in terms of holders. You have a larger amount of holders. You have about 200,000 more holders than you did at that point in time. And a lot of people are still prepping for the exact same things. They're prepping for the future. They want, 1 cent SHIB. And again, we can have discussions back and forth about whether that will happen or not. Obviously, I think you need a pretty big interest in Shiba Inu. I mean, it needs to gain major dominance in the market, or you need to have significant supply removal, or you need to have the SHIB ecosystem really get kicked off in a big way and get adopted in a much bigger way than what we've been seeing. But, maybe that's a discussion for a different video. But the biggest thing, again, we need and that we've been waiting for is retail. Retail is what can make all this a reality and what can actually make this extension even bigger than what we saw back here in the early part of 2024. Just for a little bit of context, we actually surged from basically 5095 up to 4045. If we have that similar move right here, oh gosh, what was that? Apologize. I should have done the math on that. I can't remember. Was that a 350% move? 350% move. Well, if we do that from here, guys, you're talking about a new cycle high. You're talking about running all the way up to 406. And remember, these ranges have very thin liquidity in them. There is not much SHIB to go around. There's not a lot of resistance we'd be fighting. And that, frankly, at that point is when you can easily get a push to a new all-time high. A lot of people just continue to buy to send it. FOMO sets in. That's when the fun really begins. So the question I have for you guys is, are we about to see the same thing we saw back in late 2023? Is this the kickoff of SHIB's bull run? Is this going to be where, frankly, our up-only season commences? So that's all I got for you guys. I appreciate it as always. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this, but have a great day. Show your love below. Catch you guys in the next one. Take care.